I was finding that students are having trouble learning, and so I wanted to see how I could change, focusing on how students learn versus lecturing.
Students like it. It's a much more engaging environment for them.
They seem to be learning and getting help directly in the classroom instead of doing homework at home and then having trouble. So that's the idea that there's a lot of content, so you want to focus on the course objectives that you have and then how you're going to teach your classes such that your students achieve those student learning outcomes for your sessions.
So you need to think about what content that students can engage with outside class. So typically these will be the more straightforward pieces that you can ask them to engage with through reading a textbook, a short video. A lot of instructors think that flipping the classroom involves making these fancy videos to have people watch before class.
Your time should be preparation for how to interact with your students and the kinds of activities to work on during class.
So you don't necessarily have to be intimidated by having to create all of these pieces. A lot of the pieces are there.
And so the idea is you might assign some reading with some focused questions, or if you want to give them some videos, maybe they're already made online. Your focus should be about what their students are doing in class.
The student buy-in is perhaps one of the most important pieces.
So the idea is that most students who come into this kind of classroom that's flipped, they don't really know what to expect.
You have to explain to students and help them understand how their role is different than in a traditional lecture class.
Try all sorts of different varieties of buy-in, but one of them would be to ask them on the first day of class a set of questions. Prioritize these three questions. One, do you want to acquire knowledge like facts and principles? Do you want to learn how to use that knowledge in different situations? And do you want to develop lifelong learning skills? And usually students pick the last two.
Getting them to see the value of this helps them commit to doing it.
While you're in your classroom, you can monitor your students and assess their learning.
You have a unique opportunity in a flipped classroom to really be a part of your students' learning journey. You're able to see what they struggle with, you're able to see what support they need, and make it to some extent an individualized learning experience.
You're going in there and engaging with them, they're engaging with each other, and then that way you can kind of pick up the misconceptions or the problems they have.
That's one of the wonderful pieces of it all, is to really watch your students learning the content in a deeper way.
So to iterate is the idea is that when you first start flipping your classroom, you're trying all sorts of new activities, you're doing different things.
The first time you run it, it isn't necessarily going to look very smooth.
You need multiple iterations. You've got to keep trying out new things.
Run it the first time, give it your best shot, think about what worked and what didn't work, record that, decide what you're going to change for next time, decide what did work, and then be prepared to do it better the next time.
And so the idea is don't give up, keep making new things, keep trying.
The flipped classroom for me helps students learn better.
It's a much more engaging style. Students tend not to go to sleep. The students tend to think that it's much more interesting.
You don't have to do everything at once. There are various small strategies that you can do by taking sort of 5 or 10 minutes out of your regular lecture. You may be willing to do more, but there are plenty of baby steps along the way.